You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
Housing advocacy group occupying Fife Motel leaves after police arrive. Or domestic terrorists illegally occupying hotel after takeover forced out by police. That's kind of more like it, right? Let's jump on into it. If you're new here, my name is Sean Reynolds. I'm the owner of a couple of real estate companies. And I talk about the real news, stuff that's happening in Seattle area. Let's jump on into it. All right. A group of people experiencing homelessness that was staying in a Fife motel without paying for the rooms has left the property, according to the police. Now, this is a story I've done a couple of podcasts on. The first podcast I didn't quite have all the information, got most of the information now. This is a group that just kind of basically hijacked like a dozen hotel rooms, brought in like 40 homeless people, paid for one night, and just kept staying there and said, city of Seattle should, or city of Fife should pay. City should pay. City should pay. Even though we rented the hotel rooms for one night, the city should pay. They actually had the gall to say they had brought in business to this hotel. No, you didn't. You hijacked a hotel. That's illegal. That's a crime. Anybody else goes into a hotel, doesn't pay, guess what? Good chance to get arrested because they're doing something illegal against the law. The group was organized by advocacy organization, and those are loosely held terms, right? Advocacy organization, Tacoma Housing Now, which booked 16 rooms at a Travelodge in Fife and paid for one night on Christmas Eve, and then continued staying there for the next, 5 nights, I think. However, the group refused to leave and pressured the city and county government to step up and pay the bill. That is terrorism. That is domestic terrorism. That's what that is right there. You don't pay your bill, you're a criminal. On Wednesday morning, 6 days after the group moved in, Fife police ordered the non-paying Travelodge guests to leave the property at the request of motel owner Shawn Randhawa. Now, how about this guy, Shawn Randhawa, just put in a really awkward position. He's a hotel owner. He wants to rent out rooms because during the pandemic, not a lot of people are moving around. Not a lot of people are traveling. Maybe it's gotten a little bit better since Thanksgiving. But hotel occupancies are way down. This guy's probably just struggling just to hold things together. He's got about 10 employees, I remember from previous podcasts. He's got 10 employees, he's just trying to go, and then all of a sudden, he's got this group of homeless people organized by this crew that ends up getting coronavirus. And just the story is, it's a crazy story, but that's what we're doing in Seattle, right? All those guests voluntarily left, and that's put in quotes, according to a statement from Fife Police Chief Peter Fisher. In other words, didn't have to arrest them on the spot, which they probably should have done like 5 days ago. You didn't pay for your hotel room? Yep, you're out of here. Let's haul you out. And if you don't want to go peacefully, let's arrest you and throw you in jail, because that is what should happen when you break the law. That's just my thought. Instead, we had this muckabout where the owner of this hotel, the manager of this hotel, is like, okay, the city is saying they're negotiating. The cops won't boot these people. I got all these people in here not paying, and nobody else in their right mind is going to want to rent a hotel in a room in a hotel that's basically been hijacked by a bunch of homeless people. That's a no-go. And the group, the organization, the advocacy group had the gall to say, we're bringing them in business. No, you bring in business when you pay. You did not pay. That's illegal. You should go to jail. I must sound old and harsh, right? I mean, this stuff is just, it just boggles my mind that this stuff is just ongoing. Tacoma Housing Now spokesperson Rebecca Parsons agreed that all left without major incident, but disputes the city's characterization of voluntary. Here's where it gets good. This is what she says. It's a total joke and an Orwellian use of the word voluntary because the police were at the hotel threatening people with felonies. Well, were you doing something illegal? Did you pay for your hotel rooms? Oh, you didn't? So you were trespassing for how many days? I think you got off pretty lucky that you were just allowed to leave. All right, they're at the hotel threatening people with felonies, and they're now going on the record in news articles saying they might charge us with felonies. Well, again, you probably did something to deserve that, right? All right. So I don't know what world we live in. We're threatening someone with felonies if they don't leave, and then they leave. Is that voluntary? Of course not. It was not voluntary. You're missing the point. You did something illegal. The police came in and booted you out because that is what should have happened. The city should be taking care of the homeless people. Not a Travelodge guy who's just trying to get by. Even the newscaster asked you, newscaster asked, what about the hotel guy who you're not paying? Well, we're bringing in business because the city should pay. That kind of logic, that is some slippery logic that does not make any sense. And that's why I'm doing this news story, because people out there need to know just the lunacy that's going on in Seattle and the areas around. It's like, oh, okay, these people don't have home. Okay, that's a separate issue. You don't stick them in a hotel and not pay. That's not right. That's illegal. I don't care if you're bringing attention to an issue. That's not the way to do it. A criminal investigation into the people who illegally occupied the motel is ongoing. Good, Fife police said, and it could include felony charges. I'm okay with that. If you did something wrong, don't do the crime if you can't do the time, and stop whining about it. Parsons said the group does not plan to return to the motel. That's probably a good call. Tacoma Housing Now previously occupied an old middle school in the area that had really bad air quality. So they took over and moved a bunch of homeless people into a middle school that had been abandoned because of the air quality. Okay, this is not a brilliant group. These are not people that are playing with a full deck of cards. Before the police arrived, Fife City Manager Hyun Kim said in a letter that the city secured temporary shelter for the members of the group. The Tacoma Rescue Mission offered shelter beds and transportation, according to Kim. Public health officials also offered to help to individuals who said they had COVID-19, according to Fisher. So I find it really interesting. This is a small rabbit hole I'm going to go down here, but stick with me. It's important. So there's 10,000 homeless people in Seattle. I mean, 5,000 that we know of for sure. Double that. Maybe there's 15,000. I don't know. It's an awful lot. Between 5 and 10,000, I think, are numbers we go off of. And again, it could be way more. But so far, we've only had 15 known cases of the coronavirus attributed to the homeless and homeless encampments. And yet these guys bring in 40 people from homeless encampments to inside, and immediately there are 3 cases of coronavirus. Should we all be living in tents outside? I don't know. And obviously that we don't want that to happen, because the parks are already filled with homeless. We don't need more people. But it kind of goes to show, maybe this whole hunker down at home thing, being inside, hiding your identity, wear that mask, maybe that's not really the way to go here. I'm just throwing out ideas, but I do find those stats. You could say, okay, yeah, but the homeless, they don't get tested. They don't get testing. But you better believe that at the hospital, if those people if they're COVID and their death is COVID, they're going to check off that COVID-19 box on their death certificate. And we don't have a ton of information on that, do we? 15 cases in Seattle attributed to homelessness. Homeless? That's weird. Something fishy going on there. 5 people are believed to have COVID now. 5? Uh-oh. So, yeah, it's jumping up. Parsons said, including 3 organizers. Good. Those organizers of this thing, those are not good people with the group. She spoke while quarantining at home because she may have been exposed. Well, you were exposed, you nut job. Fisher said the city now has procedures in place to make sure that if something like this were to happen again, it would be met with swift and certain actions. Good. It should be. And other towns, pay attention. need to do the exact same thing, take swift and certain actions if this kind of stuff happens in your town. And I think a lot of police departments would. They'd just be like, yeah, we're not dealing with that. Out you go. In a phone call with King 5, Kim said there was an effort to secure hotel vouchers. I keep hearing about hotel vouchers, but I never hear of anybody getting any. In an effort to secure hotel vouchers, but it didn't come through. He said other hotels had been, quote unquote, spooked by the group's actions. Could you imagine? You're another hotel owner and you've got Tacoma Housing Now saying, yeah, we'd like to book a block of 25 rooms and we're just going to be there for one night. What do you think other hotels are going to be like? They're going to be like, what was the name of your organization again? Tacoma Housing Now? No. I'm sorry. We are full for the nights in question. We are booked. Booked. So saying that these other hotels are spooked is an understatement because Travelodge in Fife just got basically hijacked. How many rooms hijacked for how many nights? How many thousands of dollars is that? Tacoma Housing Now should pay that bill. That's my opinion. You guys should pay that bill. Parsons previously said the group wouldn't leave until their demands were met, including that the city and county pay the Travelodge owner for the unpaid nights. Yeah, it just baffles my mind. People think they can get away with this stuff. Wednesday, she said, most of the 43 people staying there were back in encampments. Okay, I thought they were offered housing elsewhere. If that's not the case, I think we'd have a story. So they basically just got a free ride in a hotel for 6 nights? Hey, thank you very much. And from my understanding, they damaged a door that had been locked. The hotel owner is like, I'm going to lock as many of these as I can before these people get back in. Somebody kicked the door open. And then they claimed, we fixed it. All right. She also noted the group had received death threats after some Twitter users picked up on the story, claiming a connection to Antifa. Now, or Antifa. I've heard that as well. I've heard that it's the same group that's basically doing the muckabout down at the Red House in Mississippi Avenue North, also the Yellow House in Seattle next to Cal Anderson Park, and then also something in Olympia. Those are the stories I've heard. A handful of protesters with American and Trump 2020 flags came to wave signs in front of the Travelodge in the afternoon after everyone cleared out. I love that they throw this. Okay, we've got a extreme left wing angle here, and then the extreme right wing, the protesters with American and Trump 2020 flags, came down and they flew their flags, probably just outside on the street. And the far right, it seems like that's kind of a lot of what they do is they fly some flags around. They don't hijack hotel rooms. They don't take over hotels, do they? No. There's been some incidences where they've gotten in beefs with far left groups. Of course, that's happened. But for the most part, they just run around and kind of protest with their flags and do that. They don't cause $2 billion worth of damage to businesses across the United States like the far left does. Yeah, interesting. But those are different storylines that we want to ignore because, that's not what we're doing. We're not really talking about that, except we do talk about that here in the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. So that's what we're doing. So this incident with the Travelodge has come to an end. It'll probably take that owner a while to recover. It'll make him think twice about buying another hotel, and other people considering buying hotels, operating hotels. What would you think if you had an advocacy group come in and, we're just doing one night, and then you basically get no support when that group doesn't want to leave? And they basically said, well, the city should pay. How about if we as individuals just ran around to hotel rooms, did the same thing? How do you think that would work out? Not well. So I hope these people do get prosecuted. I don't think they will. I hope they do get swift and certain actions happening to them. And if they've done felony actions, they should get felony charges. Light them up. They broke the law. That's kind of my thing. If you go down that road, you need to be willing to pay the price. And in my opinion, this housing group, advocacy group, they should pay the bill. There should be no question about it. They rented the rooms. They signed the contract on behalf of the homeless people, right? That is what should happen. So homeless advocacy group, Tacoma Housing Now, you guys need to cut that Travelodge owner a big fat check, whatever it is. Man up and do the right thing. You caused it, you take care of it. That's my whole point. All right, that's it from this one. I know it's a short one, but I've covered this topic a bunch, but I kind of wanted to do a finish out of the Fife Travelodge saga. It's over for that guy. I hope things go better for him, but what a nightmare. And that is what's going on here in the Seattle area. Just Looney Tune folks running around doing Looney Tune things. Let's just hijack a hotel, because this is really how we're going to get our message across. All right, that's it for me. I'm Shawn Reynolds from Summit Properties Northwest, Reynolds Kline Appraisal. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe. Until then, stay safe, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.